We hope you've enjoyed lunch, and now the pastries are on the table. And just like in the old world, when they would bring out the pastries, we introduced the video. As many of you know, the inner city has been working miracles in the lives of thousands of children for over 47 years. Thanks to people like you, Inner City is able to provide students with the financial support they need to attend a values-filled, life-changing Catholic school in the Archdiocese of New York. The statistics, which we'll be hearing more about, never fail to amaze. That said, we all know it's not just about the numbers. When you get to know the students and who they are and their backgrounds, it just adds to the positive impression and often leaves me astonished at the challenges they overcome and how important their education is to their present and their future. It's these strong, amazing students like Campbell we met earlier in the program themselves who tell the story. So allow me to please get out of your way, and you can view this short film showing you exactly what I mean.
I will succeed.
I will follow my dreams.
I will make a difference in this world.
I feel that life here in the Bronx, it's a community that supports each other.
Every day you see something different. There's a lot of people, different types of communities everywhere.
The diversity is so great because we have different people of different ethnicities, races, religions.
Economically, we might not be in the best situation, but we're happy as a family, and that's what really matters.
My experience going into a Catholic school has been amazing. I've met amazing people.
As a kid, you're really impressionable, you're really open to anything. So the Catholic school helps you become closer to God, and it always sets you with a good moral foundation and compass.
A typical day is not challenging because everyone loves and respects each other, and I definitely think that the school is preparing me for the next steps of my life.
When I grow up, I want to be a lawyer and move back in the Bronx to help the community out.
Personally, my hopes and dreams are to pursue my career as a pediatrician or doctor.
Well, ever since my freshman year, I've been writing. That's my passion, so I really enjoy it.
What I want to be when I grow up is a doctor or a scientist.
I most definitely believe the Inner City Scholarship Fund is changing lives.
The scholarship means everything to me, and I'm extremely thankful for it. Without the scholarship, there was no way I would be where I am right now.
Without my sponsor, my mother's dream of me pursuing a good future would have been gone.
I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't know who I am today.
I'd like to thank all the sponsors. I have a lot of different opportunities thanks to this scholarship.
Thank you because you're impacting these kids' lives who can't afford Catholic education at all and giving them a real shot in the world.
Knowing that there's someone out there supporting my education makes me extremely grateful. And to anybody who's thinking of donating to the Inner City Scholarship Fund, I would say that it could change people's lives.
The first thing I would say to our sponsors is thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm positively sure that each and every one of the students that you support will say the same thing.
I will be a journalist when I grow up.
I will be a computer engineer.
I will grow up to be a scientist.
I will go to college.
I will always be strong in my faith.
I will always remember the help I've received along the way.
I will achieve my dreams in life because of your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, a cardinal was talking to me. These things happen. Well, as compelling a video as there is, and there is nothing like meeting our students and alumni in person. Today, we have a former scholarship recipient who would like to share her Catholic school story with us. Please welcome, my mom's alma mater. Please welcome from St. Barnabas High School, class of 2015, Rohana Sosa. Rohana. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I'm honored to be here with you today to show how my Catholic school education has given me a solid foundation to thrive as a person in my faith, higher education, and career. I entered Catholic school in 3rd grade. When I was 11 years old in 5th grade, my father passed away. Losing my dad was not only emotionally difficult, but also changed my family's financial situation, something I didn't fully comprehend at 11. When I started writing letters to 2 people who, through Inner City Scholarship Fund, sponsored my Catholic school education, I feel very fortunate to have received tuition assistance from Inner City. My scholarship alleviated many of my family's financial worries and allowed me to continue Catholic education at Visitation School and St. Barnabas High School. Despite these struggles, I tried and continue to try to choose a positive attitude despite any given set of circumstances. My Catholic school was a nurturing community which provided support and kindness, especially the spiritual and emotional support I needed to heal myself over time, made possible by the support of teachers and my principal, who made every effort to see me succeed in my studies. I can remember my 5th grade teacher, Miss Maffey, welcoming me back to school after my father's funeral. She and my classmates were so loving towards me, giving me a gift of new books and a card of warm wishes. Miss Maffey also helped me catch up with school at my own pace and would always check in with my mom and me. Fast forward to high school, and my Spanish teacher, Mrs. Rojas, not only helped me develop my leadership skills as a president of the National Hispanic Honor Society, but along with my other teachers, also supported my table at the school's craft fair, where I displayed my crochet accessories to gather a small source of income to help my mom. With the support of my teachers and Inner City Scholarship Fund, I graduated from St. Barnabas High School as a salutatorian, completed 368 community service hours, and volunteered as a student assistant for the religious education program. After graduation, I became the runner-up for Miss New York in the National American Miss pageant, earning academic achievement and volunteer service awards, and perhaps the most prized of all, the golden ticket to compete in Hollywood, California. As exciting and enchanting as the pageant world is, I decided to dive into the glitz and glam world of computer engineering. I'm pursuing my Bachelor's of Science degree in computer science with a double minor in mathematics and computing information technology at Pace University. Thank you. I was inspired to pursue a career in computer science in high school when my neighbor, a military veteran, taught me the basics of fixing my computer. During my time at Pace, I received a scholarship to attend the 2017 Grace Hopper Conference, the world's largest celebration for women in computing, earned a scholarship from the Association for the Advancement of Artificial Intelligence to teach robotics programming to kids in New Orleans, and held internships as a game developer, Android mobile app developer, computer information technology technician, and graphic designer. I was even fortunate enough to travel to Senegal last January to research ways to improve mobile device literacy using tutorial videos. Without this scholarship, I would not have been exposed to these opportunities. And I'm very proud to say that upon graduating from Pace University this May, I will begin a full-time position as a software engineer at IBM. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Having learned the importance of contributing to the world's work through my 10 years in Catholic school, I have been also fortunate to participate on many service and mission trips. I volunteered in the Dominican Republic as part of the Pace Setters Leadership Program, where I witnessed incomparable destitution, distributed food, clothes, and school supplies, and worked with children, helping them create vision boards of what they want to aspire to be in life. As a Latina of Dominican descent, this work was especially meaningful to me, and the Pace University president named me one of 12 university recipients of the Bronze Medal Jefferson Award of Public and Community Service. Now, I would like to get back to thanking my sponsors. It's my great pleasure and honor to say that today's honoree, Mr. Rooney, and his wife, Mrs. Rooney, sponsored my Catholic education through Inner City Scholarship Fund for 7 years. It means so much to me to share the stage with you, Mr. Rooney, and I'm forever grateful to you for believing in me and my potential. I remember all of the handwritten letters I wrote to Mr. and Mrs. Rooney, sharing my academic goals and progress. I would like to share my heartfelt gratitude for Mr. Rooney's scholarship. A million thank yous for your generosity, kindness, and compassion towards me. I am so lucky that fate delivered Mr. and Mrs. Rooney to me. Your generosity has inspired me, and I will pay it forward. I hope to be a sponsor like you one day, so I can give other students the same opportunities you so graciously gave me. May God multiply your kindness and infinite blessings of good health and happiness always. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohana. I am now pleased to introduce a leading litigator in New York and longtime member of the Lawyers Committee to introduce this year's honoree. Please welcome, from the law firm of Debevoise and Plimpton, LLP, John Kiernan.
Thanks very much, and thanks particularly to Rohana, who reminds us what this enterprise is all about. Transforming lives like that is just exciting to see what a tremendous change can be made in a life through the generosity of the Inner City Scholarship Fund drives. It's a great pleasure to be here today to say a few words about why Steve Rooney, a great friend to so many of us here today, is such a worthy recipient of the St. Thomas More Award. The professional part is easy. Steve is a tremendously accomplished lawyer, co-head of the global insurance industry group at Mayer Brown, a 2014 American Lawyer Dealmaker of the Year. He's distinguished himself really for decades as a person that major financial services companies want looking after them when they are facing a major crisis or moment of inflection or trying to handle a really complicated or important transaction. The colleagues who have practiced with and against him uniformly praise his intellect, his judgment, his tirelessness in serving his clients, his personal honesty and decency. He has the kind of reputation every lawyer wants or should want, as a wise and pragmatic advisor who gets the job done correctly every time, and has the kind of command and of the subject matter and personal integrity that are so evident that they're just a given in everything he does. So that's the easy part, but it's more fun to talk about Steve as a neighbor, a member of a community, and a family person. Many of us who have raised families have had the great good fortune to align with a few other friends to share that adventure. And some of the crew that has taken that journey with the Rooneys, in fact, a lot of that crew, are here to celebrate his being honored today. Steve and his young daughter, Sarah, were the literally first people to greet me, my wife, Lisa, and my young son, John, when we moved to our new home in Pelham 33 years ago. Steve's been a great citizen of that community, not least serving in roles of public service like a village attorney, village trustee, and mayor. But his main impact has been in all the other pieces of being a neighbor. His marriage to Sue, who sprinted 400 yards from her house to mine at 2 o'clock in the morning in a pajama top and sweatpants 30 years ago when we called her to say that we were in labor with our third child and needed a friend to help cover for the kids. His parenthood of Sarah, Stephen, Jed, and Maggie, now all fantastic grown-ups to be tremendously proud of, with maybe just a slight nod to Maggie for the extra qualities of spiritual development that may or may not have something to do with Steve's and Sue's having done Lisa and me the honor of asking us to be her godparents. Steve's important service for probably about a decade as quarterback by acclamation of for each year's Pelham Manor versus Pelham Heights touch football game for literally all the marbles, every marble there is, with one particularly spectacular last play of the game heave, maybe just a couple of years ago, that still enjoys an especially treasured position as legend among a certain circle that admittedly was probably a little bit small at the time as it has diminished in size since then. His brilliant coaching insight of assigning my son Paul at age 4 to play center on the kids' hockey team after figuring out that the reason why the left and right wing assignments weren't working out so well is that Paul didn't yet know his right from his left. Now, a collection of people here today have shared in the thousands of kindnesses and friendships and great moments along with Steve and Sue over the years, including most recently at Sunday's New York City Marathon, when Jed, the only family member with inside knowledge about the contents of the sealed doctor's envelope, performed the huge gender reveal for Sue and Steve's upcoming first grandchild by pulling off his outer shirt in front of a crowd of Rooney family and friends at mile 23 and revealing an undershirt saying, "It's a girl." So hooray for the girl. For the group of us who could spend all afternoon telling stories about the Rooneys, it's really been seminal to have Steve and his family as neighbors. Sorry, Steve, I know it's your day, but between your extraordinary parents, your fantastic siblings and spouses, many of whom are here today, and Sue and your 4 great kids, I think it enhances rather than diminishes you to say about you that it's really impossible to talk fully about you without talking about the great Rooney family. Having Steve in our lives has meant wit and laughter, enjoyment of a crowd, appreciation for the wonderful idiosyncrasies of different personalities, and steady, quiet, but firm reinforcement of the simple pieties of love of family, friends in church, hard work, sensitivity to the needs of the vulnerable, personal decency, and selflessness. As part of that sensibility, as John Calley mentioned, Steve is the second of 3 generations of Rooneys to be spectacular supporters of the Inner City Scholarship Fund, with really full personal buy-in to its central tenets of transformative opportunity to change lives, support for parochial education, and service to young people, one at a time, like Rohana, whose personal prospects and trajectories depend on and are fundamentally altered by the scholarship assistance it provides. Like his father before him, Steve is a long-time, valued and important member of the big board of the ICSF, of which this lawyers group is a subsidiary, and he's not only worked tirelessly to advance its mission, but also recruited his kids to pursue the same course. What could be a better legacy than that? So for you, Steve, a terrific lawyer, citizen, neighbor, and friend to so many of us, the St. Thomas More Medal belongs around your neck. And I ask the Cardinal to come up and put it there for you.
Will you do my eulogy, John? What comes with a lot of love and appreciation. Thank you very much. do my eulogy? Sounds good. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Your Eminence, for this tremendous honor. And thank you also for all that you have done and continue to do for this city, especially for those in need. New York is very lucky to have you as our Cardinal. My thanks to my friend John Kiernan for that incredibly kind and generous introduction. And thank you to the members of the Lawyers Committee of Intercity Scholarship Fund for this award and for all of their efforts to rally most of you here today and assure this event's success. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here today and for supporting this important cause. A special thanks to my partners at Mayor Brown, who have been unwavering in their support of me both professionally and in charitable endeavors like this one. I'm very proud to say my partners walk the walk when it comes to their commitment to serving others. I come from a family of 8, and as you can imagine, my siblings and I went through a somewhat chaotic childhood. From that chaos, we emerged as the best of friends, and we have a supermajority of my siblings here today, and I'm extremely grateful for their support. My friends and neighbors from Pelham have also rallied to this cause, a more civic-minded community you will not find anywhere. Congratulations, Lucy Fado, on receiving the award in the name of your former mentor, Jack Cooney, who for years championed support for inner-city students. I'm sure that Jack would be exceedingly proud to have played a part in contributing to your distinguished career. And Lucy, your leadership as AIG's General Counsel in mobilizing over 400 of your colleagues to engage in pro bono work this year is an inspiration to everyone in this room. Congratulations also to our student speaker, Roana Sosa, on your impressive achievements to date. We are all so very proud of you, and it is a privilege to share this podium with you, although I think we would all agree you're a very tough act to follow. Every lawyer here, I'm sure, appreciates the critical importance to their careers of mentors. In my case, I had the great good fortune of receiving a 2-year clerkship with Judge Kevin Thomas Duffy, who recently retired following a distinguished 44-year career as a federal judge in the Southern District. And I am the beneficiary of his steadfast loyalty and generosity towards his law clerks. Meaningful mentorships are a two-way street, and the judge was very clear about what he expected in return. It was not the kind of loyalty featured in our political discourse today, nor the kind that Henry VIII expected of Thomas More. The judge put it to me this way in my first week on the job, fresh out of law school. If you don't tell me when you think I'm wrong, I'll fire you. Thus began a career-defining relationship for me, and the judge's friendship and guidance since epitomizes mentorship in this profession. Receiving this honor means a great deal to me, and I'd like to share with you briefly 3 of the many reasons why. For starters, it is very humbling, to say the least, to look over the list of past recipients of this medal. When I was a law student, names like Mulligan, Curran, Feerick, and Reardon, to name a few, were the giants of the legal profession in New York. And their examples and achievements were motivating and the reason to pursue a career in law. To be added to any list that includes their names is a high honor. Another more significant reason this honor means so much is because of my late father, Frank Rooney's commitment and dedication to inner city from its inception. Almost 50 years ago, he and a small group of business leaders launched the fund and set it on its present-day course of helping kids in inner-city neighborhoods gain access to a quality education. I've had the unique privilege to continue the work of my father as an inner-city board member and to witness the expansion of the scholarship recipients to over 8,000 students a year. Through his words and deeds, my father was and continues to be an inspiration to me. He was not a lawyer, but as the head of a publicly traded company, he had plenty of dealings with lawyers. and he understood the difference between the good ones and the mediocre ones. Over the years, his advice on how to become the former and avoid becoming the latter was consistent and straightforward. Be truthful and deal with people squarely. That was also a cornerstone of his uncomplicated approach to a very fulfilling life. Finally, this medal has great meaning for me, having witnessed over the past decade as an inner-city board member the countless displays of courage and determination shown by the scholarship students and their families. Look no further than the extraordinary courage and determination of our student speaker, Rowana Sosa. My wife Sue and I came to know Rowana a decade ago through Inner-City's Be a Student's Friend program when she was a sixth grader. She had just suffered the tragic loss of her father that year, and her working mother was struggling to make ends meet. Rowana obviously thrived at her inner-city school in the Bronx, both academically and in developing a deep respect and concern for others. Rowana is a unique and special person, and there are hundreds of other inner-city kids seeking the same chance to experience a quality education. It is an unfortunate fact that many of our city's neighborhoods, the combination of poverty, lack of education among adults in the community, and neighborhood crime rates, has created a class of at-risk kids whose prospects are bleak if they cannot at least complete a high school education. In these neighborhoods in the Bronx, only about 60% of students who start public high school graduate in 4 years. Catholic schools in these same neighborhoods have achieved extraordinary success, and you've heard some of the statistics. At a cost to educate a student of less than a third of that in the public schools, the inner-city Catholic schools graduate 98% of high school seniors, and an astounding 95% of those graduates pursue post-secondary education. If you're a parent in the South Bronx, raising 2 kids, working 2 jobs, and living at or near the poverty level, and whether or not you are Catholic, the success of the nearby Catholic schools is not lost on you. But the relatively modest tuition is prohibitive, and every year there are students who, without financial support, cannot make the switch to or remain in Catholic school. Not all of these students will become lawyers, teachers, successful entrepreneurs, or computer engineers like Rowana, but they will all aspire to such lofty goals. My wife Sue and I received a great letter from one of our sponsored students recently, a 4th grader, Edward Sonato, who told us about his dream to be the first in his family to go to college and to then become a lawyer, because he explained he, quote, wants to help people who get framed, close quote. I'm told that Edward is now a finalist for a summer internship at the White House. Whatever their pursuits, all of these students will receive the kind of values-based education that will serve them well in life and lead them to be productive members of their communities. And by values-based, I mean an education that values learning and emphasizes the importance of self-respect, discipline, and respect for others. Rowana Sosa's impressive volunteerism is but one shining example of what such values-based education can nurture. Before closing, I wanted to say that I don't get to stand here today or to have a career as a partner in a New York City law firm without the undying support, love, and counsel of my wife, Sue, AKA Sue Rue. She made it possible for us to raise 4 beautiful kids while I was mostly burning the midnight oil, and she has been an enthusiastic supporter with me of our sponsored students, answering letters, attending graduation ceremonies, and visiting schools. In closing, I want to acknowledge that there is no shortage of causes worthy of your time and support in New York City. And most of the lawyers, law firms, and law departments represented here today are well known for their charitable and pro bono work. The Lawyers Committee and I are very appreciative of your presence and support. To those of you who are new to this event and this cause, please consider joining our efforts by sponsoring a student, hosting a summer intern at your firm, and/or joining the Lawyers Committee. It's a rare opportunity to change the course of a deserving kid's life. Thank you again for this tremendous honor, and thank you all for taking the time to be here today. Godspeed.
Steve Rooney, ladies and gentlemen. It is now my pleasure to introduce His Eminence, Timothy Michael Cardinal Dolan. Your Eminence.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, TJ, and thanks. I'm glad you sat down. Bishops don't like it when people give a standing ovation because, and you're clapping, you can't get to your wallets. So thanks for sitting down. Look, as is very evident, I rarely miss a meal. And this annual St. Thomas More Award Luncheon, sponsored so effectively and generously by the Lawyers Committee of the Inner City Catholic School Scholarship Fund, is one of my favorites, folks. Steve Rooney, let me add my congratulations to you, Sue, and your radiant family, especially gratefully and reverently remembering your wonderful dad. Give our love to your mom, too, Steve, please, and thanks for carrying out the legacy. Lucia fatto, brava, ben fatta, per tutto che lei ha fatto. Okay, thank you for all you've done for us to merit this year's membership and community involvement. Thank you, Lucia. Folks, you know these are rather rough days for the church as we cringe over scandalous and sickening abuse of our young people, but do we ever need an afternoon like this? It reminds us of the overwhelming good, the overwhelming good that the church does for our beloved young people through our Catholic schools. As one mom herself, not a Catholic, she explained, commented to me recently up in Washington Heights when I was visiting one of the schools up there, I don't want my son anywhere else than in a Catholic school where I know he'll be safe, loved, and educated in his head and in his heart. Thank you, Mom. I needed to hear that. Now that we could not do without benefactors like you, my friends, who support that student and thousands like him, inspired by the likes of Steve Rooney, Lucy, Susan George, John Callaghy, and our wonderful Lawyers Committee. Thank you all. God bless you. Hope to see you next year. Through the intercession of Mary, our mother, St. Patrick, our patron, and St. Thomas More, who looks over this luncheon, and these attorneys who try to follow his example, may God bless you and our students, the students that you love and serve, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, everybody.
Everybody, we'd like to let you know that there is a special treat waiting for everyone with our students as you exit. Be sure you see them on the way out. You won't be disappointed. Please visit innercityscholarshipfund.org to learn how you can become even more involved. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.